and welcome to the WMAR Vault. I'm Jamie Costello. Here at WMAR, we've been celebrating 75 years on the air. We were the first TV station in Maryland, and now we're setting our sights on the future in streaming. And to that end, we're mixing up the old and the new, and we've opened up the WMAR Vault. We've dusted off 16 million feet of archive footage. That's enough footage to get from Baltimore to Los Angeles and still have nearly 400 miles left over. We hope you enjoy this episode of the WMAR Vault. When you step on the scale, does a card come out saying, "1 at a time, please"? Do you feel you're constantly wrestling with your weight? When you get your shoes shine, do you have to take the guy's word for it? Grunters of the world unite. These are the 90s. Fit and trim is in.
I really don't want to lose weight. I want to stay firm and look good, and I refuse to get on a scale because it doesn't really matter.
Concentrate to get back into that new suit.
Yeah, hands up.
Or that new dress. 2 days into the new year, everybody is serious about working out. The average poundage one wants to lose is
5 or 6 pounds and be able to walk up some steps again.
Keep grunting. Hot out of the microwave comes the steamiest report yet, fresh off the Surgeon General's desk, telling us how to lose weight efficiently and effectively. It says here, as far as beer and alcohol is concerned, forget it. It's a no-no. Make sure that your soda pop is diet only. Red meat, it's a no-no. Make sure that fruits, vegetables, and salads are stocked in your refrigerator tonight. As far as snacks, chocolate, nuts on top, it says here that you should get rid of all snacks from your cupboard, effective tonight, not even any cookies. It also says you should have 8 cups of water every single day. And while you're at it, why not clean up your room? After the room is cleaned, there are a lot of ways to lose weight safely. Check with your doctor first, who will tell you don't look for overnight success. And you must change your behavior when it comes to food.
Food should not be as important as we've made it. It's just fuel to stoke the engine for a 24-hour period. That's all it is. It's not love, God, sex, and rock and roll. It's just food.
And keep grunting. Jamie Costello, Channel 2 News, Nightside.
Maybe it's chauvinistic or sexist or old-fashioned somehow, but I was taught the worst thing you could do is hit a woman. But Tony Rodriguez doesn't think so, and neither does Lady Tiger Triar. Both are professional boxers, and both are women. Tony is 28 years old, has won 10 of her 13 pro fights, 6 by knockout, and is a former Army medic. She fights at 140 pounds and is the junior lightweight champion of the world.
Okay, come on.
Lady Tiger is the junior middleweight champion of the world with a record of 20-4 and an imposing ring presence augmented by a shaved head. She sees her pioneering bouts in the ring as a blow for liberty for women, but says she doesn't like violence.
Men hitting women and the marital spats and things like that's terrible, you know. And,
but if it's organized in the ring, it's okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you have protection, you have gloves, breast protectors, mouthpiece, you know, and things like that.
Tony Rodriguez sees boxing as an art and says it gains her respect from other women and from men. She says there's nothing unladylike about being a boxer.
No, sir. I'm a lady outside the ring and a boxer in the ring.
What about getting hit?
I try to catch most of my hits right on my arm or evade them. When you're conditioned, it doesn't bother you at all. You learn to roll with the punches and come back, keep coming back. If you let it bother you, then it's time to get out of the ring.
I feel that I'm even more feminine and more of a lady since I've been in boxing.
Tomorrow's bout is at the Pikesville Armory at 7:30. Tickets are $10 and $15, but there's not much money in boxing for the women who fight. Each will be paid only about $500 plus expenses. But Lady Tiger says she'd be glad to see a daughter of hers learn to defend herself and maybe become a world champion. Tough Tony says she'd never fight a man, but she can put men down with the same line men have used for years about women.
They make better lovers than fighters.
Go to your corners and may the better fighter win. I'm Andy Barth at large for News Scene 2. James Clark is doing something that might help deal with the energy shortage and the corn surplus that could result from embargoing grain sales. He's got a still on his farm near Columbia. Don't get excited, there's nothing illegal about it. He's got all the appropriate permits, But still, since he's the president of the state senate and all, it sounds a bit strange. But not to him.
It just seems to me that it's a logical thing for people on the farm to do because they have all the ingredients. And if there's anybody that can make themselves independent on the energy shortage, it's the farmers.
The still isn't working right now, but when it is, he can get 3 gallons of alcohol from a bushel of corn. It costs him about 75 cents a gallon, which comes out equivalent to gas since it's not quite as efficient. But it's better than gas for him since he's got acres of corn and forests of wood. What can he do with his alcohol?
Well, when you get alcohol, it's up to 170, 180 proof. You have a product that you can do many things with. You can run a gasoline motor on it, just pure by itself, with a few adjustments. You can also burn it in your oil burner in the place of fuel oil, so you have a good many alternatives with it. You have to denature the alcohol so it can't be drunk. You have to agree not to sell it or give it away under this permit that I have, but you can use it on the farm.
And that's what you're going to do?
And that's what we intend to do, yes.
Clark's other intentions are less clear. Specifically, he is considering running for the U.S. Senate, but that's in the uncertain future. Alcohol is here and now. I'm Andrew Barth on the scene in Howard County.
It's illegal. It's illegal.
That's one good reason for me to run for senator.
This is a copy of the official proclamation from the Office of the Governor declaring January 8, 1980 Elvis Presley Day in the state of Maryland. And it reads, whereas Elvis Presley, one of our most popular entertainers of our time, brought joy to the hearts of millions of people during his career, and whereas Elvis Presley left an indelible imprint upon the music of his generation and the people it touched. And whereas devoted fans of Elvis continue to enjoy his music and revere his memory because for many he exemplifies the American dream. Now, therefore, I, Harry Hughes, Governor of the State of Maryland, do hereby proclaim January 8, 1980 as Elvis Presley Day in the state of Maryland. The two people responsible for getting today declared Elvis Presley Day in Maryland are Stephanie Hobman and Pat Munford of the Brooklyn section of Baltimore City.
I took a lot of correspondence with the governor's office. You know, letters, phone calls, things of that sort.
Everybody from generations to come will always remember Elvis and what he stood for, not just an entertainer.
There is also a move underway to get this day declared a national holiday. In fact, Congresswoman Barbara Mikulski has said that she will introduce a bill in Congress which would do just that. Elvis fans throughout Maryland are grateful for any and all recognition of their hero. People such as the woman who lives in this Harford County Joppatown home. She is Elizabeth Dobbins, and Liz Dobbins has spent about $6,000 on Elvis memorabilia. She even bought a video recorder and has acquired about 26 hours worth of Elvis tapes. This was Elvis in a 1968 concert when he was 33 years old. And what would fan Liz think of Elvis if he were alive today at age 45?
I think that 45 would have just been like a rare bottle of wine, better with age.
Not age nor the reports of drug abuse can tarnish the image of this man in the eyes of his devoted fans. The king lives on. I'm Susan White Bowden on the scene throughout Maryland on Elvis's birthday.
It's an ordinary middle-class house in Aberdeen, but it's clearly a special day.
Happy birthday.
But actually, every day is devoted to remembering Elvis Presley for Elizabeth Dobbins, whose basement and whose life are full of reverence for the king. I am not an Elvis Presley fan, never having liked the music or the act, but the fact that he was tremendously successful and important in this country is beyond argument. What is fascinating is the appeal he had and has to a substantial body of people who still collect Elvis artifacts and cherish his memory. Elizabeth Dobbins went to 12 of his concerts and followed him around the country in life, and in death, she has her home decorated with Presley decanters, street signs, Kleenex boxes, mirrors, paintings, and picture albums. She had an Elvis license plate, an Elvis portrait with herself superimposed on it, and an unabashed and enduring love.
I like to surround myself with Elvis and the music that he gave us. But I believe that he's a man that, devoted himself to our enjoyment. And just because he isn't here anymore doesn't mean that we shouldn't say thank you.
That's fine, but what was the appeal that fuels the eternal flame?
He was sexy. I don't know. It was just the excitement. He just had such a way about him, a charisma that just drew you to him, and he was just full of this charisma and excitement.
He's been dead now 6 or 7 years.
7.5.
You can't let go?
No, I don't want to let go.
Elizabeth thinks Elvis's birthday should be a national holiday. She once cut down her bedroom curtains to make a crown for him. She watches his concerts on tape over and over again and ignores friends who laugh at her. She says his death may have had one silver lining, for she couldn't see him with gray hair and wrinkles. Whatever she feels, she is not alone. I'm Andy Barth at large for News Scene 2.
Ready to rock and roll.
This was a good dance orchestra, Howard Lannon Orchestra. This was 1923, I believe.
Welcome to Wally Lamb's World of Wax. Stacks and stacks of it. Over the years, his one-time living room has been turned into a musical museum.
Well, Tony, I'd offer you a chair, but unfortunately, you can see I'm pretty piled up.
Yeah.
Everywhere you look. We got records piled to the ceiling almost.
And unlike some collectors, Mr. Lamb says he's not in it for the money.
They get a record like this, and they'll right away think it's worth a lot of money. It's not.
It's not?
You know, some of these you can't get rid of for a quarter.
He's a longtime member of Baltimore's Vintage Record Club. You want vintage? Mr. Lamb's got you covered.
This is Edison from around 1922-23. The artist on this I have to read is B.A. Rolfe and his Palais d'Or Orchestra. A song called Oogly Oogly E.
Good stuff, huh?
Oh, it's the hottest. Jelly Roll Morton.
As his old-time Victrola cranks out the tunes of yesteryear, he pulls out yet another record that predates the shellac disc.
One-sided, costs 15 cents.
And this is a paper record.
You see, it's pasteboard. Because of the Depression, that's about the best way they could sell it. It was only one side.
No flip side, huh? I almost flipped when Wally showed me his collection of 100-year-old cylinders, the mother of musical recordings.
To me, it's a whole world on these records. Beautiful world that I love. It takes me back a lot of times, and when I was a kid, I used to go to my grandmother's and play the phonograph there.
Mr. Lamb's been in a groove for a long time. He lives in the past musically, but how about the present?
Off the record, do you have any CDs in your collection?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
How about, do you have Sex Me Up by Color Me Bad?
I'm afraid not. That one I don't know.
That won't make your collection?
That
anytime?
won't make my collection, not this year anyhow.
Snow developing 31. Snow on Friday could be up to a foot or more. Therefore, it could be a fairly significant snow here in the Baltimore region.
First, are we going to get hit?
Yes, I think so.
Essentials.
Milk, bread, toilet paper.
Not to mention windshield wiper fluid, shovels, and a delicious meat byproduct. Maybe not.
Yeah, this is filling up for the snow.
A trip to the invisible teller, and just how much should this storm cost?
Hopefully about $200. The limit that you can remove from one of these machines at one time.
So how much do you predict?
About 4 to 6 inches.
12 to 14 this time around. I like that.
Hey, no need to get angry. The snow is just a couple of hours away, but today is a good day to start practicing. All right, fellas, hit it. Let's get ready to rumble! See you in the express lane. Jamie Costello, News Channel 2.
Gentlemen, thanks for coming away from the football games to spend some time with us today. Let's talk first of all Dunbar today, and no rest for the weary, Pete Pompey. You guys have been traveling all over the globe. Good things have been happening. You've got to be real happy with the way your basketball team has performed so far.
Yeah, Bob started this stuff, man. But you're right. I mean, it's no rest for the weary. If you're gonna go and find out how good you are, you're gonna go play against the best, and that's what's been the policy of Dunbar. And it's not any different now. Every day you look up, somebody's coming after you. You got to be ready to play.
You mentioned that Bob started something good. Well, he picked up, I guess, for Sugar Cane when Sugar started something good. But you did the same thing that Pete's doing now. You took your team nationally to play some of the best teams in the country. What does that do, not only for the team, but for the city?
It does a lot for the city. And as you said earlier, my hat's off to Coach Bill Kane. Did a super job for 33 years at Dunbar High School. But what it does for the city, as far as I'm concerned, Dunbar High School basketball program is, they're considered ambassadors of the city. And year in, year out, we go out and we play outstanding competition. And not only that, we allow the youngsters to interact with other cultures, other cities, and the kids. And I think it's great for the youngsters to do that.
Okay, we're going to take a look at this year's Dunbar team in action. Bob, having seen them, having coached one of the best high school teams ever in the early 80s, how good is this team?
Well, I've seen Coach Pompey's team play several times. They do a wonderful job of getting the ball out. They have outstanding athletes. They can leap, they can shoot, and the good thing about it, you cannot concentrate on one individual. Any night, Coach Pompey can consider or can look to one youngster to give him 20 points. I mean, all three of those youngsters can give you 20. But it's just a fantastic team. They're very athletic, and as you see here, they can do it all.
Obviously, we're talking about the big three: Michael Lloyd, Dante Bright, Kevin Booth, or Keith Booth. But obviously, it's a team effort. Diego Jones playing well for you, Paul Banks. You've got to be happy the way the other kids have really responded.
Yeah, we're very happy in terms of the way those other kids have responded. There's no question about what Michael and Dante and Keith can do. But Paul Banks and Cyrus Jones has stepped up to start for us and really give us that fourth and fifth guy that's really carrying us a load. And then got a couple of young kids coming off the bench that's really helping us, and that's Alexander Mobley and Michael Cooper. So we got 7 guys, and we probably can go a couple more deep if we have to. But that's the kind of thing on the grind that we play, and the schedule you play, and the number of games that we're playing. You got to have somebody up off of that bench. As Coach well knows, you got to have somebody come off of that bench to answer the call for you.
Muggsy Bogues said last week that he wants to play you guys after the season, after the NBA season. He wants to get Reggie Williams, Reggie Lewis, and now I'm not going to ask you to compare the teams, but I am going to ask you to, if you could, to talk about what each team has meant to basketball in this area. And I know you won't compare the teams, or will you?
And I don't think it's fair to compare the teams, because what my youngsters accomplished while they were at Dunbar High School is completely different than Coach Pompey's team. We had some outstanding athletes. They could shoot, they could run, but given the time and the era, I think those teams that I coached, they did a remarkable job to represent the city of Baltimore.
And vice versa, Coach, right?
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, that team he's talking about, first awesome basketball I've seen. You know, that was just it's just some great ball clubs that Bob had, and of course, always going back to Sugar Cane. It's just that it's going to be difficult for us to make comparisons because where those kids have gone and where they are now, our kids have got to get there.
Okay, quickly, we're going to take a look at a big tournament coming up here in a couple of weeks, the Charm City Classic at Towson. Let's take a look at the graphics. Friday, January 17th, TC and St. Francis at 5, Dunbar, St. Raymond's, Southern St. Anthony's. The next night, Saturday, the teams flip-flop and you add Walbrook to the party. Now, this is a huge tournament. Pete, Bob, just how big is this thing coming up?
I'll let you. I'll let the current coach answer that one.
I'm looking at the graphic over there, and we just got finished playing St. Raymond's. We played St. Anthony last year. Tremendous basketball teams. It's not something that you cherish having to play, but it's going to be the only way you can find out how good you are. You got to play the best. And it's going to be a great tournament.
And in closing, we must give credit to Meredith Smith at Southern. And you got to be looking over your shoulder at these guys.
Well, I got to tell you this: I don't have to go but 2 miles to find tough competition. You don't have to go out of the city to find it. It's right down the street there.
Gentlemen, thank you. Two guys who used to coach together at Edmondson High School when they first, I guess, started their coaching careers. We thank you for taking time on this busy Sunday. Best of luck in the future. And MB, best of luck, I guess, to you in trying to figure out who's the best high school team, the 82-83 team or the 91-92 Dunbar Poets. I'm not going to.
If they're not going to try and you're not going to try, I'm certainly not going to.
All right, how many of those stories do you remember, huh? Right? For 75 years, WMAR has brought those news stories right into your home. From film to video to tiny digital cards, over the air, cable, satellite, now here we are streaming. And we'll keep moving forward and remember to look back at the stories and the moments that made us all Maryland. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of the WMAR Vault. We will see you next time. Hey, it's Jamie Costello. If you just enjoyed this episode of The Vault, you can check out more episodes by clicking on this box down here. And while you're at it, go ahead and hit that circle, and that'll subscribe you to WMAR2 News for great content every single day.